Hi, this video is a guide to how to pass your English exam. I recently passed my B2 English exam, the Cambridge one with um, an A, and now I'm C1 level, and I'm going to give you some tips on how you can pass your Cambridge English exam with an A. So I hope you find this video quite useful. I'm trying to make it as short as possible and with so many informations. So let's begin. So I want to start with the reading part when you are given some couple of texts and you have to comprehend them and then to answer some questions. They're quite tricky because there are a lot of synonyms in the question. You don't have the same answers, like the same words as in the text, so you have to know quite a range of vocabulary. And the thing that might actually help is reading books. And I know some people are like, oh, it's boring. Well, it's not boring. I mean, for me, the only boring books I've read were the ones that were given mandatory to read in school. And I'm going to tell you, don't read the books that you are meant to read in school because they are boring. They are quite useless. So when you have to read something for class, just read a summary, and read the books that actually matter to you, books that you find interesting. You need to, there's such a variety of books for each and every taste. So I don't believe that you can't find a book that you love. I have there a lot of 3 different bookcases of full of books, and I love making videos about books, my favorite books. So these are here. If you are curious and you don't know where to start and what books you should read. Then we're going to use of English, which I found it quite tricky at the time, but now is no longer a problem. And here how I became to master this skill. So use of English is practically grammar, which some people find it quite boring and dull in every language. So I'm also a polyglot, and grammar is one of the hardest things to learn. But if you if you pick it up from books and TV shows and movies, then it won't be as difficult as it may seem. If in comparison, for example, if you learn the grammar only from a textbook, only from um, something very formal. So I really recommend watching TV shows, movies, and reading books, but because there you have a lot of grammar, a lot of a range of vocabulary of verbs, and it's quite easier to pick it up. One thing that is really important, and I'm not talking about only English but every language, you shouldn't hurry. So I prepared for my B2 English exam for 2 years, and that's how I began to master this skill and this level of English. So 2 years of practice without any hurry. So I took every single step and focused on each piece of writing, of listening, of use of English, of reading, everything step by step. So with no hurry at all. Then, where it becomes quite tricky for a lot of people is the writing part. By the way, I particularly enjoy the writing part because I found it extremely creative, and I'm also a writer, which of course I found it quite easy, but for the B2 level it's quite simpler than the C1 because in B2 you have more informal letters, more informal texts that you have to create, whereas in C1 level you have more formal ones, and you need to use more formal words and verbs and lots and lots and lots of adjectives. I think adjectives are a bonus for both levels of B2 and C1, and yeah, because description is one thing that gives you a lot of points. So yeah, but not too much description at the same time. You need to have range of adjectives, but not too many, so it doesn't look like you're desperate, you know? Then this is the listening part, where you're given some more tracks and you have to listen, and it goes from and you have to answer some questions, and it might be a bit problematic because one thing is the accent, and the second is that they quite speak fluently and quicker, and also you don't have, as I've said it in the reading part, you don't have in the answers like the same sentence you have in the track. So you have to know a range of vocabulary because there are a lot of synonyms. But if you are good at it, then it won't be a problem. And when you're watching TV shows and movies in English, try not to use subtitles, because in the exam you don't have subtitles, and you'll see that it's quite a bit more difficult. But if you practice a lot, I think that's the key. Practice is the key in everything. You have to practice and practice and practice, and if you do that, I'm not saying like every day, but at least 2 or 3 times a week, if you practice, then you'll be able to master the skill. When it comes to speaking, I love speaking. I'm such a talkative person, and I love communicating a lot. So speaking wasn't a problem for me, but here comes the tricky part, is that you are in pairs. So you need to have like that chemistry between you and your partner, so that you can demonstrate that you are able to have a conversation in English. There's more parts. One, when you talk only, like when you present 2 pictures and you have to describe them, you have to compare them, you have to answer a question. The other part is when you have to like answer some questions given to you by the examiner, and there's this part, like multiple parts, when you have to talk with your partner. And one thing that gives you more points is if you have that connection with your partner. When you make eye contact with your partner, that's such an important task that you need to complete. You have to make eye contact, and also you have to make it like a normal conversation. So don't ask and then answer and then ask and then answer, very chopped. Don't make it chopped. You must use a lot of linkers, that's in all the parts. So try to make it as normal as possible, like you are having a conversation with your friend, and try to react, to have feelings. Don't use words like stuff and and I don't know what to say or something. And when it comes to the speaking part, I think it's very useful to, when you're preparing for the exam, to just talk. Even if you are alone in your room, or try, as I did, making like vlogs, because that's how I started it. I wanted to practice English. I didn't have with anyone whom to practice with, and that's how I made this YouTube channel. And I found it quite easy, and I think I've improved a lot from my first English video to this one. And the B2 exam is not so important. I mean, don't be so focused on your accent. I mean, it's important to pronounce them correctly, but they don't necessarily look for your accent to be flawless. Then afterwards, yeah, in the C1, you should have like the accent. So you should master the accent by C1 level, But don't worry, in the B2, it's simpler when it comes to the speaking part. Well, I think this is all you need to know about the proper exam. Of course, you should have a book with exercises, workbook that you should practice, an exam book that you should take the tests from. But that's like all the tips I had to give you for this exam. Now I'm going to tell you what to do on the day of the exam. So I've taken in my life a lot of exams, and I know what I'm talking about. A lot of contests, a lot of exams. So yeah, I know what to say. Also, I'm very anxious and stressed out person. So even though I've had a lot of exams, when it comes to this particular day, I'm trying not to freak out. And I'm going to tell you how not to do. Well, first of all, you should have a good night's sleep. You should sleep very well, and you should uh, meditate a bit before the exam. So just empty your mind, meditate, and take some deep breaths, and calm yourself down. Then you should stay hydrated. You should have like a bottle of water at you, and also try to drink before it, but not too much. Try to um, eat something before, something like a little snack, um, and try to stay calm and focus on each part individually. I guess that was all you need to know about this exam. I've told you it's nothing to worry about, nothing to be stressed about or anxious about, because it's an exam and it's quite the teachers are quite chill, and they're very friendly, and yeah, you don't have anything to stress about.